Well, I'm talking to Tim Knight at DCS. Tim, we've been out today with a bunch of your Year 10s. We're doing 3 days. How have we gone about this exercise and what's the purpose?
The purpose, first of all, behind the exercise was to encourage our students to lift their heads a little bit outside themselves and realise that they're part of a much bigger story than the story that they're either told or the story that they have been fed. And so the chance for students to realise there are some amazing local stories that exist that they can own, that they can understand and they can retell, and to create a new narrative.
We've got these stories right here in Dubbo. What were they briefly?
Yeah, so we went out and heard the John Flynn story out at the Royal Flying Doctor Service. We spent some time in Victoria Park and glanced across and tried to understand the story behind Pearl Gibbs and the mural down on Talbragar Street, and then wandered down to the Rotunda so we could capture a picture of Bill Ferguson's story.
So you did a great thing in terms of getting the kids to sit down and respond to that afterwards, because they were busy filming and making little films for themselves, which will be fun to see. The idea, they had an iPad, they formed little teams, and they were asking questions that came to their minds, or we gave them a few props. But how do you think that worked?
I think the day was really successful. Getting around as a small group in a circle and sharing something that they'd learnt or something that had been impacted by seemed to be really effective. The things that they were sharing around new understandings about their part of a story, and seeing them take a little bit of ownership of those stories as well, and grow in pride of who they are and the community that they belong to, was really encouraging.
So what were some of the particular comments that stuck in your mind from the kids?
I'd say that the comment that stuck out most to me was probably around their value and worth. It was a young man was talking about his idea that there are heroes, but they're everyday people. The other thing that probably stood out to me was they were really impressed by the idea of John Flynn starting small. The Royal Flying Doctor Service seems like a massive operation that would be impossible for a single person to actually run independently by themselves, but realising that it just started with a book and a heart, and seeing their smiles come out from that was really encouraging, in fact. Yeah.
So if you were talking to other teachers in other schools about doing something like this, what would you say to them, Tim?
Do it. For the opportunity for kids to lift their gaze outside themselves and appreciate their place in history, and the fact that then they will go on to write their futures, which will then become history, is really important. This sense of I am important, and the things that I do in my life are important, both for myself, but also for the community that I live in, is something that our youth need to know.
Yep. Excellent. Thanks, Tim.